Imagine a test. Fail it, and you die. That's the law in this future. But what if the test is a lie? What if the real fate for those who fail is a terrifying secret? In Austin, Texas, students prepare for this life-altering test. Lena Michaels, a bright high school student, helps her younger brother Simon study. Despite her efforts, Simon struggles, overwhelmed by the pressure. He begs Lena for help, offering her money for a cheating device she possesses. Lena, needing money for her sick mother's medical treatments, reluctantly gives him a contact lens that displays test answers. She warns him to destroy it after the test and to tell no one. Their mother is battling an aggressive illness, and her doctor informs Lena that her mother is signing herself out of the hospital against medical advice. The doctor sadly conveys that the best course of action now is to keep her comfortable at home, as treatments are no longer effective. Lena rushes to the hospital, finding her mother preparing to leave with her younger siblings, Corinne and Joey. Lena pleads with her mother to stay, but her mother is resolved to go home. Meanwhile, Blake Redding, the son of Texas Governor Dean Redding, is spending time with his girlfriend Ellie Harper the night before the test. They sneak into a hilltop pool, trying to escape the stress and reality of the thinning. Ellie expresses her fear, and Blake promises they are in it together, that he will take care of her. Later that night, Blake's father confronts him about being out late with Ellie, calling her a distraction. He emphasizes the importance of the test and Blake's future, urging him not to F it up. The next day, students arrive at school for the test. Simon is seen fumbling with the contact lens, losing it just before entering the testing area. Guards usher students in, enforcing strict rules. No laptops, no computer devices. Kellen Woods, a friend of Lena's, is seen attempting to hack into his father's security account, intending to expose the system. Security catches a student trying to run from the test, and guards quickly apprehend him. Kellen, observing this, confirms he plans to send stolen security footage to a news reporter he knows, Wendy Banks, hoping to expose the truth about the thinning. He has her email but admits she doesn't always reply. Inside the classrooms, teachers offer final words of encouragement. Miss Birch tells her students, including Lena, that she is proud of them and that the test is tough but not designed to trick them, reminding them there's always a chance. Mr. Glass, in another classroom, reiterates that the test is an accurate assessment of aptitude. A video is shown to younger students, explaining the thinning as a necessary measure to save Earth from overpopulation, depicting it as a way for America to remain the best country by keeping only the smartest children. Miss Cole, visibly affected by the video, briefly steps out, but returns to lead her class through the test. The test begins. Blake, who passed the previous year, is taking his final high school thinning test. He records a video message stating his intention to purposefully fail the test as a protest against his father's system, wanting to see if his father will uphold the law even for his own son. Blake deliberately answers questions incorrectly. Lena, confident in her abilities, focuses on the test. After the 2-hour time limit is up, tablets are collected, and the results are quickly announced. Names of failing students are called, and guards escort them away. Some students go quietly, while others resist, crying and pleading. Kellen watches nervously, but is relieved when his name is not called. He passed. Among those called are Donald Green, Kelly Jeffries, Marcus Langley, and Lane Vick, who frantically tries to escape but is caught. Carrie Billich is also taken. Finally, Peter Strand and Ellie Harper are called. Blake is horrified as Ellie is taken away. He tries to intervene, creating a diversion by setting off a fire extinguisher and urging Ellie to run, but she is quickly apprehended by guards. Blake is restrained, crying out for her. Governor Redding receives the news about Blake's actions and Ellie failing. Blake calls him, begging his father to intervene, to say it was a mistake. Governor Redding refuses, stating that everyone, including his son, must obey the law, no matter how painful. Blake is devastated, telling his father he can't lose Ellie because he loves her. His father insists his hands are tied. Lena, observing the scene, is surprised when her name is called. She knows she didn't fail. Her teacher, Miss Birch, also expresses disbelief, telling a DPC officer that Lena is her best student and there must be a mistake with her tablet. The officer checks Lena's name in the system and confirms she failed, ordering Miss Birch away. Desperate, Miss Birch subtly slips Lena her keycard as Lena is being led away with the other failing students. As the failed students are moved towards the thinning area, Blake, still in the main hall, manages to pull a series of electrical cables, causing a power outage and triggering a lockdown sequence throughout the school. In the ensuing chaos, Lena uses the key card Miss Birch gave her to open a door and escapes from the line of failed students. During the lockdown, Governor Redding is preparing for a press conference announcing his candidacy for president. His team informs him about the revisions to his speech, approved by Georgina, a key figure in his campaign. He exchanges a tense moment with Blake before leaving, reiterating that none of them are above the law, not even Ellie. Blake responds pointedly, suggesting he use that line in his speech. Meanwhile, the younger students who pass the test are sent to the recreation room. Miss Cole is there with them, trying to maintain calm. One young boy, Nathan, asks her for help with a question, but she explains she can't, telling him to just do his best. This is from the context of the earlier scene where the children were taking the test, but the subtitle places it here, possibly a flashback or a reordering in the edit. Reconciling with the plot flow, this likely refers to the test itself. Blake and Lena, both now separated from the main groups, encounter each other in the school hallways during the lockdown. Lena expresses confusion, certain she didn't fail. Blake admits he failed on purpose, but his father's intervention saved him, revealing the corruption in the system. They realize the system is rigged. Blake, having caused the power outage, knows the school's layout. They decide they need to find the server room to expose the truth about the test scores. Lena is initially skeptical, given Blake's earlier privileged behavior, but he apologizes for being a dick and admits he liked her and was jealous of Ellie. They agree to work together. They navigate the locked-down school, avoiding security guards. Blake suggests they follow the network cables to the server room, which should be on reserve power. Access requires a key card, which Lena has thanks to Miss Birch. News helicopters begin to gather outside the school as the lockdown continues well beyond the expected time. Parents grow increasingly anxious, demanding information about their children. Governor Redding is interviewed live, attempting to reassure the public that the situation is under control and that his team is on site. Behind the scenes, he's furious, demanding to know what's happening. Mason King, head of the Department of Population Control and Test Manager, informs him about the power outage and the missing student, Lena Michaels. Mason is ordered to find her and proceed with the thinning as soon as power is restored, emphasizing that the eyes of the nation are on them and there's zero room for failure. Lena and Blake find a vent system to move through the school undetected. They plan to use Lena's key card to access restricted areas. They encounter security guards and manage to evade or overpower them. In one instance, Blake fights a guard, allowing them to proceed. Kellen, still trying to help, successfully sends security footage to reporter Wendy Banks. The footage shows DPC guards using excessive force on students. Wendy and her team recognize its significance, realizing something is severely wrong at Vista Point High. Back inside the school, some of the students held in the recreation room are getting restless due to the prolonged lockdown and lack of information. One student, Wade Freeman, attempts to leave, boasting about his parents' influence, but DPC guards stop him. Blake and Lena reach an area where they can access the server room. Blake devises a plan to create a diversion, while Lena uses the key card. He manages to subdue a guard and take his uniform and mask to blend in. Lena, using the key card, gains access to the server room. Mason King is notified that Lena has been located. She's in the server room. He orders all units to converge there. Meanwhile, Wendy Banks goes live with the security footage Kellen provided, reporting on the extended lockdown and the disturbing images of guards assaulting students. She then reveals information received from an anonymous source inside the school, official documentation revealing falsified test scores. She announces that Lena Michaels, who was publicly declared a failure and a threat, actually received one of the highest scores in the school, while Blake Redding, the governor's son, passed despite having the lowest score. This explosive revelation airs during Governor Redding's press conference. He is blindsided and furious. Georgina, his campaign manager, immediately distances herself, threatening to withdraw support if he doesn't fix the situation. She warns that Congressman Sandoval doesn't come with these kinds of problems. Governor Redding realizes the severity of the scandal. He is told the situation is changing, and Georgina states she thinks she backed the wrong horse. Cornered, Governor Redding makes a critical decision. He contacts Mason King, orders the lockdown lifted for the students who actually passed, and issues a revised list for the thinning. He orders Mason to proceed with the thinning based on the actual test scores, not the manipulated ones. This means those who genuinely failed will now be taken, including his son, Blake, who deliberately failed. In the server room, Lena is able to access the test score data, confirming the manipulation. Blake, disguised as a guard, attempts to reach the area where students are being held for the thinning. He plans to release the students who were wrongly brought there. As the lockdown is lifted for the passing students, they are led out to the recreation hall. Among them, Lena is reunited with her younger sister Corinne, who is being looked after by Miss Birch. Lena is relieved her sister is safe. Blake, however, is caught by guards while trying to free the students marked for thinning. Despite his struggle, he is subdued. As the revised list is implemented, students like Wade Freeman, who boasted about passing, are now called for the thinning because their actual scores were low. Wade protests, incredulous. Blake is also brought forward. Lena sees him and calls out to him. Blake tells her it's okay that he did this. He insists they get Lena out of there. Guards pull Lena away as she cries out for Blake. Governor Redding holds another press conference, addressing the scandal. He condemns Mason King's alleged criminal actions and announces a committee to investigate. He uses the situation to portray himself as a man who upholds the law, even when it means personal sacrifice. He announces that his son, Blake, was among the failing students and was taken in the thinning. He presents Blake's death as a tragic but necessary sacrifice for the greater good, ensuring America's future. He states that he is not a hypocrite, and the laws apply to everyone. The students selected for thinning, including Blake and those genuinely failed, are led away and seemingly subjected to the process. However, the film reveals a twist. They are not killed. Instead, they are tranquilized and taken underground to a large facility. As Blake awakens, he looks around and is shocked to see Ellie working in what appears to be a forced labor camp. The thinning was a lie. The failed students are being used as a workforce by Asuru Global, the company behind the test tablets and the system. The film ends with Blake discovering this grim reality, setting the stage for future events.